Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to an anxiety hypnosis session created for a specific client that had a fear of loud noises, and specifically fire alarms, and an element of anticipatory fear as to when they may go off. And what you're going to hear is a hypnosis session where it's positioned almost like a Nemesis, almost like the final stage on a computer game level, that before you can get to the next level, you've got to face off that kind of challenging adversary. And in many books and many movies, the hero's journey involves a face-off, where in order to evolve as a character, they need to meet their nemesis. And that's very much the essence of this hypnosis session, that rather than seeing the stimulus as something to avoid, it becomes this thing that with bravery and courage, the very thing becomes a pathway to empowerment and evolution. And in doing so, to use the gaming analogy, if you were playing a computer game, you don't have to complete that level on the very first attempt. But once you've completed it once, it gives you confidence that you can complete it again until you've got a sense of certainty that you can complete it whenever you want. And that analogy mapped across to a stimulus that in the past would cause panic is very empowering, because then you've got irrefutable evidence that you can overcome something that in the past was an issue. And then you win twice. One, you don't need to anticipate any form of anxiety around the original stimulus because you can now make the evaluation that you can handle it. And secondly, it becomes evidence in your life that change is possible. And there will always be things that feel intimidating and a cause of anxiety. But once you've got a few things that you've overcome anxiety or adversity, then it becomes very difficult to hold a belief that things can't change if you've changed so many times before. So although this was created for a client with a very specific fear, I think the essence of facing a fear in an empowered way is useful for pretty much anyone, because there are always things that feel outside of the comfort zone or feel that they could be beyond our current level of belief that we can do well in that situation. And like I recommend in many of my sessions, it's good to be intentional with this kind of stuff. So worth thinking about something that gives you a feeling of anxiety, or something that makes you currently feel that you're not able to do that particular thing. And then whenever you hear the references to a nemesis or an adversary, think of your particular thing and imagine you facing that fear in a way that becomes empowering for you personally. If you have any intense fears, anxieties, hypnosis is one of the things that I think is very effective at helping with that. And I'm saying that as someone that used to be crippled by anxiety, and certainly am not anymore. So click the link in the show notes if you want to explore working with me one-on-one. And at the same time, you may benefit from this session and not need to work with me one-on-one, in which case find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, Just allow any feelings of stress, tension, worry to feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. So simply by breathing in and breathing out, allow yourself to feel that you're floating into a state of relaxation. The deeper you breathe, the deeper relaxed you become. Feel a wave of relaxation starting at the top of your head and working down. Just feeling like tension in your arms and legs, even fingers and toes, is just being released. That's it. Breathe in deeper and breathe out for longer. And as you do that, feel a wonderful feeling of letting go. And sometimes things that used to be a certain way change. Maybe there's certain foods you used to like as a child that you don't like anymore. Genre of music you used to love, and now it's different. I want you to accept the suggestion that things change. The neural pathways that open and close access to emotions and resources fluctuate over time. There was a time when just a cartoon would make you feel excited, and now perhaps creates no emotion whatsoever. So if that can change, anything can change. And I want you to accept that something that used to cause anticipation or anxiety doesn't need to keep doing that. The function of that anticipation was to keep you safe. But what if the evaluation that you were in danger wasn't correct? What if you've been avoiding something not because it's really a threat, but simply because once upon a time you made the evaluation that you had to get away, so your brain acted as if it was something you couldn't handle? As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to think of all those times that you heard loud noises without knowing you were about to hear a loud noise. Maybe an air horn, maybe something like a large balloon popping nearby, maybe a fire alarm that you had no idea was about to go off. And I want you to treat those experiences as irrefutable evidence that you can handle loud noises. And if you can handle them, you don't need to anticipate them. Because whenever they come, you can handle them. Breathe in and breathe out. And I want you to imagine that you are the main character in a computer game. And imagine that you have to be in a particular room at a particular time to get to the next level. Consider this: the bad boss that you have to overcome in order to get to the next level. But before you meet this Nemesis, I want you to think of a time when you felt incredibly brave. Maybe recently, maybe a long time ago. Just think of a time when you were not just brave or courageous, but incredibly brave. And imagine going back in time and seeing that version of you, seeing what you looked like when you were incredibly brave, just about to do something that required bravery. And I want you to see someone with a refusal to back down, a refusal to avoid, someone that will do whatever they need to do because that's what the bravery dictates. See you doing the very thing that required the bravery, and then rewind it. Step into that version of you and feel the bravery. And maybe it's a sense of resolve. Maybe the inner dialogue shifts slightly. Maybe it has an attitude of, I'm not backing down, I'm doing this. I want you to get a sense that you are unlocking that bravery within you right now, and take that feeling of bravery and then imagine being in that computer game where to graduate that level, to complete that level, you need to be in a particular room at a particular time. And sometimes in computer games there is cheat codes, things or strategies that help you to get past the final stage of a level. And I want you to realize that the cheat code for you is what you focus your attention on. I want you to imagine you're in that room with hypnotic ear protectors. The kind of ear protectors you might see someone working in construction or a very loud environment would wear. And I want you to imagine you have these hypnotic ear protectors protecting your ears in that same room. Feel the sensation of them around your ears, and accept the suggestion that the only way you can experience 100% of the sound of any alarm in that room is if you give 100% of your attention to the alarm in that room. That if you were to give 50% of your attention to something else, the hypnotic ear protectors would mean that you only experience 50% of the sound. And therefore, if you were to give 90% of your attention to the work you're doing, to the speed of your breathing, or to questions in your own inner dialogue, if 90% of your attention was on other things, you would only hear 10% of the sound of that fire alarm. Which means it becomes so much easier to feel that you can handle that, which in turn requires less anticipation. And I want you to get the feeling that you can attempt this level again and again and again until you do it without any anticipation, any anxiety, any stress, any worries. And the great thing is, it doesn't matter if it takes you 1 attempt or 10 attempts. All you have to do is to get through that level once, and the next time the anxiety gets lower, and lower again, and lower again until it's almost like a ticking clock in a room that you no longer pay attention to. I want you to imagine looking at your watch and seeing it's about 9 o'clock, making the evaluation that there might be a very loud noise in the next half an hour or so, and making the evaluation that you're choosing this. Feel that bravery, feel that courage, feel that there is a refusal to back down. Hear the inner dialogue in your own mind's ear saying, of course I'm going to face this. It's the only way to get over it. And feel that that is the self-fulfilling prophecy. that when you face your nemesis gets weaker. And it gets weaker and weaker and weaker until it has no power over you at all. Feel that maybe it's 9:10. You can control your breathing. You get to ask the questions in your inner dialogue. And most of all, you control what you focus on and what you do, and feel that you are immersed in your work, or perhaps imagining that you're somewhere else entirely. Feel that you have so many options, and then imagine, before you know it, you've been immersed so much in what you're doing, you lose track of time, and then, out of nowhere, you hear an alarm. And the moment it starts, you're making the evaluation that it will soon be finished. In fact, you start to smile, just like a time when someone let off an air horn nearby, caught you by surprise. It feels like that the very fact that it starts means that it will stop soon, giving you an absolute sense of accomplishment, relief, but also that the bravery led to victory. So feel that victory. And each and every victory means the next battle becomes easier. And there will come a time, and I want you to imagine this time, that you are in an environment with the possibility of a loud noise, and you couldn't care less. That's the real finish line. And when that time comes, you'll look back at all the progress you've made and feel the whole journey started with a decision to face the Nemesis, to no longer keep running away. And someone that makes a decision like that is incredibly brave. You took the more difficult path, and when people make difficult choices, they're rewarded with all of the benefits of victory, increased confidence, higher self-esteem, higher feelings of self-worth. I want you to get a feeling that you are evolving as a person by making this choice. Feel it's a brave choice, but also feel it's going to be a rewarding choice. That in choosing this, you get to take control of your life and move it in the direction you desire, rather than just avoiding what you don't want. To feel like you're going into the future experiencing that time where there is a loud noise, unexpected, and you couldn't care less. A sense of apathy, ambivalence, boredom even. And at that point, feel that if that version of you was to go back to this same level, they could do it easily. In the same way that when you think of those times you've played a computer game, tried to accomplish a level, the first few times are difficult, but when you've beaten it so many times, it becomes effortless to do the same level again. I want you to feel you are unlocking bravery, courage, but also stubbornness, a refusal to back down. And sometimes that's all it takes to vanquish a nemesis. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel like you're returning to the present with a sense of victory, a sense of excitement, that you are making progress, to take your life in a positive direction. You either beat your nemesis or weaken them. Whatever happens, you're winning. Feel like you're returning to the present as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, fully connect in the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.